Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 7 of Nuclear Earth Reirradiated. We've got a fight on our hands. Ooh, 2v1! Who's gonna win this one? Oh, you got him. Good job, Pigman. I've seen a couple of those happen. Spoiler, the Pigman always wins, because the snowballs don't actually damage it. Whoops. Don't pick a fight with someone you can't hurt, I guess is a takeaway here. Anyways, today, let's continue with what we left off with yesterday, and that is working on the applied energistics system. So I have all my processors. I guess the next natural step is probably to look at the quest book. But, I would like to make the controller. We don't strictly need a controller, but I think I want to do the controller, then digital storage, and then terminals. And then once we have that, we can have a digital storage system that holds all our items in one place. It'll make it a lot easier to do things as simple as just crafting. We can access all our stuff without having to dig through all these chests and, you know, periodically coming over here to see what ores I have, which, by the way, I now have almost 2 chests full of ores, including a whole lot of aluminum and bauxite. Ah. Since the ME controller has a standard recipe, I think this is the vanilla applied energistics recipe. All it really takes is an engineering processor and 2 pure flags to make. Let's start by making maybe like 8 of these. We can have 7 for the mainnet, 1 for the subnet. I would use more, but right now my Certus quartz supply is not quite infinite, and thus by extension my fluid supply is not quite infinite. So there we go, 8 of them. All right, put our spare blocks away. Was that? Yeah, those are the right blocks. With that out of the way, then let's look at digital storage. Digital storage here uses, oh, does it have to be regular Certus? It can't be pure Certus? Ooh, that hurts. So it uses 4 Certus quartz crystals. Yeah, that's going to be a bit difficult considering I have a grand total of 2 stacks of Certus quartz. And I think I've already cracked open all of my Certus quartz ore. I was mining at Y level 68 before with my digital miner. Unfortunately, Certus quartz only goes up to 63 for the high weight listing. I was at 68, you get the low weight listing. So I've switched it over to 63 now. I think at 63, I stopped getting aluminum. So, you know, it's pick one or the other. But it'll take it some time. I mean, it's only weight 3 instead of, so you get, you know, 4 times as much, assuming the things are additive. But it's more, but it's not infinitely more. Do I have more Certus by chance? Nope, what you see is what you get. And you don't see a lot. Alright, well then, we might have to start with a pretty small storage. Maybe just like 10 4K drives or something. Let's look at what exactly a 4K takes. Okay, so they all use 3 of the previous tier to make 1 of the next tier. I assume this trend continues. 3 of the previous to make 1 of the next, and data storage circuits. So let's set our eyes on maybe 10 4K drives to get started. For that, we're going to need 30 1K drives. Ooh, that's 30 times 4, just short of 2 stacks of Certus, which I guess is just about what we had, right? If I get 1 more piece, that's enough. Works for me. To make these data storage circuits, before, in, I think it was FTB Continuum, we had to make thousands of them using this recipe. And that would really suck, because that's like 3 emeralds per. Thankfully, in this pack, there's well, I think in newer versions of Techreborn in general, there's the assembly machine that can make them far more efficiently. So by using advanced circuits instead of basic circuits, which, remember, advanced circuits are actually cheaper than basic circuits, we can get 4 per circuit, and we also get to substitute peridots in for emeralds if needed. And I suspect I have a whole lot of peridot ore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tons of that. Okay, good. So we don't have to touch our relatively scarce and valuable emerald supply. This can be... Let's see. I don't... wait, was the dust okay? Crushed emerald. Peridot dust is okay. So it's, I can process this either into dust or ingots. I suspect breaking it with a pickaxe might just be the best option. Man, I wish I had a good segment. Can we make the full ender isle machines? Platinum, green glowstone, crushed lapis. I think we can. Let's make ourselves a sag mill so that we can use grinding balls to process things efficiently. Now that I have plenty of power, I can very easily power an industrial grinder at full speed with all of its upgrades. There's one small issue, is that still universal cables don't connect to these Mekanism machines. I put a HV cable here in between, and if you're particularly astute, you might realize that basic universal cables, let me grab one. Which one's not in use here? Do I have one on me? Yeah, I do. They say they have a capacity of 1.28 k RF a tick. That capacity actually only affects their maximum input rate. Universal cables from Mekanism don't have a maximum output rate. Well, they do. The maximum output rate is the sum of the capacity of all connected cables. So like this network can output 3.217 whatever k RF a tick to this insulated HV cable. So it's actually very convenient to use a single cable as a conversion. If you need higher tier, then don't worry about upgrading your universal cables. Just upgrade the Techreborn cable as a converter. Anyways, as you can see here, with this now running fast, we actually are limited by how fast we make water. So pick up the Endervar. Thank you, Endervar. You've served me well. All those cables, and we break out the sink. Sink's a weird block for this, I know. But if the sink has a fish in it, which our sink does, it provides infinite water. We can put a laser there. Laser. Technically, the laser doesn't even have to be on the block it's providing water to. It just has to be touching it. So we'll put it there for ease of linking. Connect all that up. And then use your compass, because obviously a compass, I don't know why this isn't a shift right click on the wrench effect or something, or maybe a normal right click on the wrench, but only out of adjacent blocks. And that pulls water out extremely quick, and our industrial grinder is, well, it's grinding away, making us a full chest of stuff. I'm going to replace that with a crate as well. But yeah, now we can process ores in this thing much faster, well, a little bit faster than the normal grinder, but we get byproducts. Woohoo! I like this dye recipe, industrial dye blend recipe, a lot more than the default Ender Isle one, which requires you to make their like strange organic dyes. I guess organic stuff is kind of hard to make given the lack of organic things in this world. How did this end up in my inventory? Anyways, we have the industrial dyes. So with that, we can... Does it have to be an Ender Isle alloy smelter, or can we do it in... Yeah, we have to do it in this alloy smelter. Upgrade our simple chassis. I think that as far as I know, there's no reason to hang on to simple chassis. I guess we need them to make soul chassis. Whatever. I'm going to upgrade all of our simple chassis for now, but once I get the first two, I want an alloy smelter, and I want a sagmo, and I want to upgrade our alloy smelter. So give me 2. Also, now seems as good a time as any for us to improve our... Oh, we completed a challenge. Upgrade our... where's this going? Combustion generator, energy buffer, or the vat. Totemic capacitor that we got from a quest reward. So, in here somewhere. Here it is. Its global level starts at 3.5, which is very good, but it scales with upgrades. So if we just, I kind of want to give it mending so we can repair it, because I think the totemic also has like a limited durability. But step 1 is just to give it a standard enchant. Oh, I don't have bookshelves. Ooh, I can make mana pylons now, right? Mana pylon. Sure can. Next up, hopefully I still have enough EXP in my Tome of Knowledge, yep, to make it to 30. And I know we can't get we can't even enchant it directly. I thought it could be enchanted. All right, well, I guess we're not doing that then. Here, lapis, stay in the enchanting table. What does it take to make the mending book? 2 solarium and an energetic alloy? I'm down for that. I'm hoping to give it both mending and unbreaking. That is 18 more levels. Who knows if I'll have enough EXP. 18. Okay, we made it. Then combine these books. I think it's more efficient to combine the books and then put them on your item, right? Oh, it's only 2 levels doing it that way. And lastly, enchant the capacitor. 5. Alright, just have a sliver of total EXP left. Works for me. And that brings... Oh, it doesn't upgrade its level. I thought it did. Is there like an upgraded totemic capacitor? No? Ah. I thought that's what the That was the whole point. Oh, maybe we need efficiency as well to do that. Let's see about making a efficiency book. 33 levels. I don't think I'm pulling off 33 levels. 25. Alright, how am I going to get some experience? I guess we can crack open a whole bunch of ores by hand for experience, right? This stuff probably gives... I don't know exactly how much, but it's definitely going to be enough to get me to level 35. What to do with all this stuff after we've cracked it open, yeah, whatever. It's party time! I love this pickaxe. I should put mending on it as well at some point. This is also a lot less EXP than I was expecting, if we're being honest. That got me like, what was that, like 25? I mean, that was only 2 stacks of diamonds. I have a few more, but I was hoping that would get me all the way to 35. Oh well, just gonna crack open more gems. Looks like redstone is where it's at. I don't actually know if it gives more EXP per. It sure feels that way though. And I have a lot of it. Then I'm gonna have a lot of redstone that I don't have any room for, but we'll figure that out later. Congratulations, you're now the redstone chest. Well, that was less than I expected. Anyways, now let's go make that efficiency book. Almost all of my EXP to make that, and combine with that is 5 or 5. I guess we'll pay 5 levels for it. And then, there we go, level 6. That is crazy fast. What is this, 10 levels? Ooh, we lost the last sliver as we got that 10th level. Alright. Don't enchant that. The fact that it has a limited number of uses kind of means that it's like not the greatest, but I mean, levels. We'll see how insanely fast this thing ends up being. Anyways, now I have to actually like make the sag mill. To really get good value out of the sag mill, you need a grinding ball, and because we have energy in this pack, we have a large selection of grinding balls to choose from. The very best one, if you don't care for energy usage, now power usage does affect time as well, so it says power, I think it actually means energy because the power stays the same, so power is energy per unit time, right? The power that stays the same, but the time goes up. Not the power goes up, but the time stays the same. Anyways, the stellar alloy grinding ball is by far the best. If you use it on, let's pick an ore, something like copper ore, that normally gives, you get like 2 main products and a 10-ish% chance at a byproduct. Where are you at? Very last one. Right, 2 main products and a 12% chance at a byproduct. If you use the stellar alloy one, that 2 main product becomes 230%, so 4.6 copper, and the gold becomes, instead of 12%, it's 12 times 2.25, what, like 30-ish%. It's very, very good. Unfortunately, I can't make stellar alloy yet because it requires nether stars and chorus fruit. So next best thing, well, the best one we can make for now is crystalline alloy, and this is 180, 140. It's pretty good. Drop that into there, give it its thing. So that uses 540 RF per tick to run. Energy wise, that's basically free. I was going to use that to process these. I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's start with 7 stacks. I don't know if unbreaking actually affects its durability, and if its durability use is per item or not. It looks like per operation, and it is affected by unbreaking. But look at how fast it is. Yeah. And then, so instead of getting 2.5 per, it's modified by the grinding ball, and we get some increased amount. Anyways, set it to auto up. It can only auto output if it hasn't been working for like the last couple seconds, or last couple ticks. So anyways, this gets us the Peridot, and I think we are ready to make data circuits now. No, we still have to make a whole bunch of advanced circuits. But this will be made with silicon plates and electrum, and silicon, it's just silicon. So we can electrolyze sand for it. Unfortunately, we can't turn the like little silicon balls into silicon very easily. Oh yeah, we can. We can just can it. That's even easier. Now for the low cost of a stack of silicon and 4 stacks of electrum, as well as 4 stacks of lapis and 4 stacks of glowstone, we should be able to make a whole 2 stacks of advanced circuits. Technically, the mechanism one is probably still cheaper than that. It's what, 1 osmium, an eighth of a redstone, 2 iron, and another 2/8 of a redstone each. It's close. I'd say iron is probably less valuable than gold and silver, so anyways, yeah, it takes it a little bit of time to process even with all the overclockers, because for some reason, like, I don't know if it's a UI bug where it doesn't show its progress, or if it just like chooses to wait 2 seconds between operations or something. But yeah, it's not fast, or it's not the fastest. It is fast, but it's not slow, so I'll deal with it. The fact that it does this operation significantly faster, I think, just means that it's not actually updating the progress bar as it crafts. I can't actually tell if it's consuming energy, but I can only assume it does. Also, it seems I haven't been managing my radiation exposure well. We're up to 35 millirad, or sorry, we're up above half. The 35 is about baseline, so we can't do anything about that. But let's just wolf down a whole lot of these rattle rolls to get it to drop. It might be more efficient to try to like eat these gradually to get more value out of the resistance effect, but I'm just wolfing them down for the one-time radiation reduction. And that'll, well, I say one time, but it gradually reduces our bar. We've already lost mining fatigue, and by the time the bar is done dropping, I suspect we'll be in this area here. Anyways, almost done with this. I also appear to have made twice as many circuit parts as I needed, so I guess it was only 2 stacks each of lapis and glowstone. Not that that makes a meaningful difference. Quick test. Is the assembly machine smart? No, I didn't think so. Oh, this one is real fast to put it together. Vroom vroom. This is what I like to see. Out of 7 stacks of input paradots, there are, what is this, 13 by 2 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8. 26 plus 8, 30, 34-ish, 33 and change stacks of paradots. That's not half bad. That's what, like 5 to 6 per? Something like that? I don't know. Math is hard. I think that's better than I would have gotten with the pickaxe. That's my point. Anyways, finally, we can combine you. Oh, come on. I thought if I put one item in first, you would at least fill 1 slot. And this makes, and this is a bit slow, but 4 stacks of data control circuits. Woohoo! That is way more than enough to make, probably start with 10 4K cells. To make 10 4K cells, we're going to start with 31Ks. Let's complete. Hey, I wonder, does this give us more? Oh, no, it doesn't. A shame. And then upgrade these with calculation processors. Where did I put them? Into this. And then upgrade, and then combine that with redstone, iron, and quartz glass. Ooh. Oh, no, this takes crushed nether quartz. Good. Because I am on my last 13 pieces of quartz and 2 Certus dust. Probably should not have done that last step yet because they don't stack well. Whatever. Now we still need a few more things like a drive to actually hold them. This is... Okay, this scared me for a second. I thought, oh shoot, let's not run into a roadblock right now. But no, we've made and can make these casings. All that's left now is to make the cabling for applied energistics. The smart cables, which are the native applied energistics cables, usually require wool to make. In fact, they still do here. While I can make wool by just using string, that's, you know, I have a lot, but a finite amount of string, right, that I get from my industrial hemp farm. In fact, how much do I have? I'm thinking, though, instead, let's try to rely on the Ender Isle variant here somewhere. That's all the seeds. I think the string is in here. Yeah. So, like, I have a crate full of hemp fibers, but that only makes so much wool. Also, the cables from Ender Isle are cheaper in terms of amount of fluix per, so I tend to prefer the ME conduits. The only tricky thing here is that these conduits use a whole lot of conduit binder, especially for the dense variant. And conduit binder uses clay. So far, I've been crafting clay with our glowing mushrooms and dirt, but that's kind of an awful way to do it. So unless there's some sneaky way to make clay hidden in here, I think it's time that we made the clayconia. The clayconia can... Yeah, there's nothing in here. Okay. The clayconia can transmute sand into clay, and that is balanced, because I have lots of sand. The only thing here that I don't have access to is a rune of earth. This, I think I can make all these blocks, so I just have to make and run a runic altar briefly. So for that, let's grab a diamond and what, 5 living rock? Do I have 5 living rock in here? What tab would I even put it in? Jeez, I can't wait till I don't have to search through these anymore. I'm just gonna grab it out of the output chest. I know I have it, it's just I have to run all the way over here to get it. Alright, give me all of this. I just noticed that apparently snow can cover up redstone. I hate you, snow. Is it only, does it not do it on these blocks? Oh, maybe a thing walked over it. I don't know. I'm just going to... I can do... Whoops, not that. I can do that to cover it up, right? Protect my redstone. For the time being, since I only have 1 mana pool and I need to do all my crafting in it, I devised a system, basically just a sticky piston pulling the alchemy catalyst that can either put the alchemy catalyst under the thing or take it away. I need to take it away in order to make mana powder, because I think if I leave it in there, I get glowstone instead. Which, while it is a nice way to make glowstone, it's also extremely expensive mana-wise, so I'm not going to bother with that much. Anyways, now we can throw the things onto the altar, and then it starts blasting it with mana. When that little bar fills up, we can put a piece of living rock on it, and then hit it with our wand of the forest. So, you can either right-click it on or throw it on, and that's how you make runes. I don't think we can make all the tier 1 runes yet, even, because some of them, like the Rune of Air, require feathers. Oh wait, there's... Nope, it has to be an exact feather. So because of that, like, we can't make air. I think we can probably make all the other ones. We can make melons, I think, by transmuting the seed. But yeah, we can do everything but air. For now, though, I just need earth. Alright, so that's the rune, and then I can make a clayconia real quick. The clayconia does need mana to operate, so place it somewhere remotely near your mana pool, and then give it a... Well, oh, there's sand around that it's converting. That's funny. There must be sand underneath. It uses a tiny bit of mana to convert clay into sand. Or other way around, sand into clay. Its range is a 5x5. So yeah, I guess there's sand down there. Well, I'm gonna give it a second to convert all this stuff that's just like, you know what? Let's just take this stuff when it's done. But, sounds like it's done. Alright, give me up. And go. Wait, why didn't... Oh, I guess it only convert... Yeah, we've reached the limits of its range. Alright, let me up. I'm gonna set up a system where I have plenty of blocks. Then I'm gonna set up a thing with a auto placer that literally places sand. Oh, this auto placer is slower than I thought it was. I'm sure there are faster auto placers available, but this will do because it's automated. So let's first toss some more coal to these. I forget, did I make 16 or 20? I think it was 16, right? They actually make like almost an eighth of a mana pool for 16 blocks of coal, which is not a half bad deal. Anyways, I added a vacuum chest air filter just for clay, so it won't suck up the coal I drop there. And then if I need clay now, I can drop a whole bunch of sand in there and then later come back and, you know, here, look, 4 stacks of clay. Nifty. 4 stacks of clay makes for a whole lot of conduit binder. I think it's 16 stacks? Yeah. And then smelt all of that. Each one also becomes like two binder composites. So this is 36 stacks of conduit binder. In fact, that's enough that I'm going to need a bigger chest. Hopefully that'll allow us to make enough conduits and not have to worry. I was just crushing down some quartz on my Sagmo because my grinder was in use, and I noticed something. It's using durability on my grinding ball, which means that I think if we look carefully, there we go. There's a chance that it produces 2 crushed quartz. So if we have a grinding ball that has more than 100, I assume it's main product. I should actually look at the recipe. Sag mill of... Oh no, I guess it's secondary product. If we have a sag mill with high secondary product, or any, I guess, crushing nether quartz has a chance to give it extra quartz. This catches my eye because crushed quartz, once we get access to Mekanism, we can actually turn it 1-to-1 into nether quartz. So once we have access to an enrichment chamber, we can set up a thing that turns effectively energy into crushed quartz, which I'm sure will be nice. This is actually, I used every last piece of nether quartz ore I had. So I have this much crushed quartz and maybe a tiny bit, like another couple stacks of quartz. But anyways, while I was raving about the qualities of the Ender IO ME conduits, there's one thing that they cannot do, and that is display how many channels are actually in use. For that, you have to use honest-to-goodness applied energistics conduits, or cables. So let's make a small-ish number of smart cables. I think that's done. Let's go for a whole stack. So cover the cable, and then apply redstone and glowstone to it, and make it smart, and then make it... Oh, is that not how we make dense cable? Oh, you have to dense it before you make it smart. Alright, well, good thing I didn't use all of it, I guess. I have half a stack of smart cable. This is still useful too. Smart cable shows you channels, so if I get a little bit more... I'm actually really low on glowstone right now. But that's very easy to mine from the nether, just we have to brave the poison to do so. Alright, so just a few dense cables is all we need. We just need them in strategic points to see how many channels are in use. With that, I guess let's make our terminals, and then we can set everything up. There's a whole lot of terminal variants. For now, I think we'll just use the crafting terminal. The other stuff will come in time. And there should be quests all the way around. Unfortunately, no rewards here. At this point, I think we've done everything we need to set up a digital storage system. That's a lot of steps just to store items, huh? Alright, where to put it? Yeah, let's put it here in the snow. I think we're going to start, like, this is our manual part of the base. Automation is going to start expanding that way. And we're into automation land. I hope it doesn't mind being snowed on. I knew I was forgetting something. P2P tunnels. These are how we actually manage the channels. So a P2P tunnel lets you effectively compress channels and transmit 32 channels. So each face of the controller outputs 32 channels. It lets you transport all 32 of those channels as if they were as one channel. And then on the other end, you just uncompress those channels and you get access to all 32 channels again. So you put one P2P tunnel on each end and you can transfer 32 channels with effectively 2, like one on each end. Each ME system can only have one controller multi-block on it, although there's no reason why you can't have multiple networks on one. Well, I guess all networks on what all sides of a controller are interconnected. So I guess technically you can only have one network on your per ME controller multi-block. But anyways, I prefer to have 2 disjoint controllers to handle my main net, which is handled by the main controller, and my P2P network subnet, which is handled by the smaller secondary controller. Although some people prefer to do it all on one network, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, what you do is just lay out a bunch of put your P2P tunnels either directly against the controller or connected to dense cable. I prefer to usually put it directly against the controller nowadays because you can easily tell which P2P tunnels are in use or not based on the tooltip. However, you do have to actually power both networks, so one of them is connected. It's incredibly hard to see. It's connected through this dense cable so that the quartz fiber, when connected like this, only transmits energy between networks. It doesn't allow data and thus channels to pass through. So doing like this, I have energy flowing into the main network, just like the ME controller acts as an energy acceptor. You don't need a separate energy acceptor for it. And then the energy flows through here, through the quartz fiber to power the subnet. Anyways, I want to now link this. So shift right click that with a memory card. It assigns it. It still says it's unlinked, but you can now see like it's got colors on its dots. It has a code. Link that with the one on the other side. So you always link the side that's close to the controller to the side that's further. I think one is called input, one is called output. But, you know, those are just terms. Anyways, once you do that, we now have all 32 channels available here at the crafting terminal. Even though, well, this is a dense cable, but even if this here were a normal cable, we could transmit 32 channels along it. But the greatest thing is that now if I want more, I don't have another P2P tunnel, but I could put another P2P tunnel on this side and get 32 channels here, right? And, you know, a lot more than that. So basically one dense conduit, which transmits 32 channels, can now do up to 32 squared channels through the P2P system. And people often ask why I focus so heavily on P2P. Really, it's because the channel system in Applied Energistics is a total headache. It adds complexity, but it's like beyond the first couple times you do it, it's not really fun. So by using P2P like this, you largely get to pretend it doesn't exist, because 32 squared is like 950 something. I think maybe more than that, maybe over 1,000. I don't know. It's enough that for all practical intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. All right. So anyways, now let's take our drive, put it somewhere. For now, let's just put the drive right there. Drop these cells into it. And then we should be able to store all of our items. Yes. Get out of my inventory. All right. I'm going to take the things I want to keep with me, store them in the sack, but everything else we're going to transfer into the terminal. I've moved over all the items from our main storage chests, so these are now all empty and devoid of life, and it's used up about half the types of our cells. So the way ME drives hold items is that they are limited either by types or bytes. Each unique item takes up one type, so that is a unique item ID, metadata, and MBT data. That means that the ME system is relatively inefficient at holding a whole lot of stacks of one effectively, right? Like this bow or like this axe and that axe, because they are one durability apart, actually take up two different types. As long as you don't go overboard, like that's okay. And like these lumps of sulfur, because they have different MBT data, they all take up one type each. As long as you don't go overboard with stuff like that, you'll generally speaking not clog up your ME system, but don't expect it to easily be able to handle like all of the output from a mob farm that produces bows of all 385 different durabilities. You know, that will take up 385 different types. That's pretty inefficient, especially once you account for the fact that some are enchanted, some are not, yada yada yada. Anyways, the other thing that uses, well, for each type used up, it uses up a number of bytes proportional to the cell size. This bit's a little bit tricky. The math is if all 63 types are used up, it uses up half the bytes of the cell on types. So each type uses up uses up 53 divided by 60% of the bytes in a cell. So 53 divided by 60 times 0.01 to convert to decimal times number of bytes in the cell. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Anyways, on top of that, every 8 items uses up 1 byte, regardless of what the actual stack size is. So for items that only stack to 1, but are otherwise identical, it is very efficient at holding those. If I have examples, sure, like, do these stack? No, those do. Yeah, these batteries. These batteries, because they only stack to 1, as long as we don't charge them, though, I don't know where the other one went because I sort by count, but because as long as we don't charge them, they have the exact same MBT data. Despite the fact that they only stack to 1, they do only count as one type, and thus it takes 8 items to take up 1 byte. And yeah, it's a interesting quirk about the way Applied Energistics stores their items. Largely, it's a complexity that doesn't actually add value, but hey, it's there. So with that, I think our digital storage system is ready to go. As we move forward, we'll definitely be expanding this to handle auto crafting, but for now, because my resources are limited, I think we'll just leave it be and move on to other things that'll hopefully help us not die to radiation poisoning. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.